You are not coming into my house to measure my curtains. That's what I told the woman in the blazer at 8 in the morning, coffee still warm in my hand. Slippers on a Tuesday I thought would be simple. She stared like I'd confessed to a crime, marched to the middle of my driveway, and dialed 911 while pointing at my living room window like it was a crime scene. She said I was aggressive, possibly armed, and refusing lawful orders. And that's how a curtain color turned into a full-scale emergency. Or at least, that's what she tried to make it. My name is Tyler Brooks, Maple Crest, Pennsylvania. Small street with matching mailboxes and maple trees that light up in October. It smells like cut grass and old Saturdays when I mow. I design logos from a desk by a sunny window. I mind my business. I return shopping carts. I wave to joggers, you know what I mean. We've got an HOA here. It used to be fine. Snow removal holiday lights. Then our new president, Cynthia Hale, arrived like a one-woman rules committee with a camera, a clipboard, and a permanent squint. Doorbell hits, no greeting. Just Mr. Brooks, urgent aesthetic compliance, inspection reports of disharmony on the north corridor. Interior window. Treatment suspected. I laugh because she's talking about curtains. Mine have hung there 3 years without anyone fainting. She flips to a fan. Deck taps a Swatch-approved palette, leans warm sage. Yours red, cool. Eucalyptus, different undertones, different reflectance. We require interior access to verify translucency and measure finials. I set the coffee down. Breathe and say, "Ma'am, you're not coming into my house to measure my curtains." Her voice goes from sugar to sheet metal. Non-cooperation triggers. Escalating enforcement. She tries to hand me a notice, fumbles the clipboard of papers. Slide across my porch. I help pick them up because I'm still that guy. And I see it. Generic templates. No letterhead. 2 pages with a faint sample watermark. She rattles off that I have until 5 p.m. to comply, takes photos from 3 angles, like she's building a case for a documentary, heels stabbing my walkway on her way out, and my neighbor Ralph shuffles over in his cargo shorts like a storm warning with legs. Son, he says she's been measuring people's grass with a ruler paid cash for a new Corolla. Nobody can tell me from where document everything. I call the one person in my life who keeps chaos from eating good people. My wife Maya, 7 years, as a 911 dispatcher voice like a seatbelt. Did she show legal authority for interior access? Maya asks. I say no. She says, then don't let her in. Photograph everything. Keep the paperwork. If she escalates, let me handle it. You'll see why she said that. After lunch, Cynthia returns with a plastic badge that says Community Standards and a notice typed in Comic Sans. Immediate fine, $350.75 a day until compliance emergency inspection fee, if I refuse. Comic Sans. You know what I mean. I tell her I'm not paying a dime for a rule that doesn't exist. She lifts her chin, then I'm calling the authorities, and she does it right there in my driveway, like she's directing a live episode of Cops tells 911 that I'm threatening possibly armed obstructing justice over window fabric. From my window, I lift my mug sip and think armed with decaf dangerous if you hate flavor. I don't know yet who picked up the call. That's for later. I just know 2 patrol cars turn onto our streetlights on sirens off presence more than panic. Cynthia meets them with the plastic badge raised like it's holy. This man is a threat. She declares he refused a lawful inspection. The lead officer, mid-40s, steady eyes, looks at me, standing in the doorway like the world's least interesting painting, asks, "Sir, are you the homeowner?" "Yes, Officer Tyler Brooks." She demanded to enter my house to measure curtain fabric. I said, "Oh." "She called you? Here's the violation." He scans the Comic Sans, and his mouth twitches like he's trying not to laugh at a funeral. "Ma'am, you reported an armed, aggressive subject," he says to Cynthia. "Where is the weapon?" She blinks. Well, I didn't see a weapon, but his posture was menacing. He crossed his arms while drinking something. The officer looks at my coffee and deadpans. "That coffee a weapon? It's decaf." I say only dangerous to good taste. The second officer coughs to hide a smile. Then the radio on the first officer's shoulder crackles. "Dispatch to Unit 12. Can you clarify the immediate threat?" And I hear a voice I know better than my own heartbeat. Calm, even professional. The officer presses his mic reports. What he sees a civil dispute about interior access. No visible threat, copy. Dispatch says noted as curtain inspection. Dispute. Cynthia stares at the radio like it said her social security number out loud. "I've heard that voice," she whispers, which is the moment the fuse burns down to the twist she never saw coming. See when she made that 911 call and our address popped up on the dispatch screen. The person who answered the one who asked the specific questions, the one who logged the exact words, was Maya, my wife. She didn't say that on the radio she stayed in the pocket because that's what pros do. But later I saw the log, the language, the precision. Caller states, "No HOA. Weapon observed. Caller alleges menacing posture. Caller alleges illegal window coverings." The kind of clean record that survives courtrooms and Facebook mobs. Back on our street, Ralph steps up with his phone, shows the officer's video of Cynthia's morning visit. Her demand to come inside. My calm, no neighbors drift over like truth. With legs, she fined me for a sun-bleached doormat. Says one mailbox, height. Says another, 200. For bird feeder activity, says a third, bird feeder activity. "Yeah, that happened." The lead officer explains that false reporting is a crime, that tying up units over a curtain dispute is not what 911 is for. He leaves me a card, tells me how to request the call. Record says to file harassment if it continues. Cynthia stiffens. Calls someone. The minute the cruisers leave. Low voice, fast words. I catch dispatcher. I catch name. By evening, she has one. Maya Brooks. Same last name as mine. My wife. Embarrassment doesn't land on Cynthia like it lands on most people. It turns into fuel. She blasts complaints to internal affairs, the chief, the mayor. Our HOA board posts a long screed online about a corrupt dispatcher protecting a dangerous man who drinks decaf. Here's the thing about stories. The ones built on fear melt as soon as you put them next to receipts. Internal Affairs pulls the audio, the radio traffic, the log. They interview the officers, review the timeline. Not only does Maya get cleared, they write a commendation for textbook handling and documentation. Meanwhile, Ralph uses his member rights to request HOA bank statements, and what he finds turns our community center into a courtroom with folding chairs. 6 months, $23,000 paid from our account to Hale Community Consulting. Cynthia's company created 2 weeks after she took office. No board vote authorizing compensation. No contract on file. The bogus fines people can't find in the bylaws. You're near 30 grand. We pack that gym floor wax in the air. Cynthia arrives in a blazer and a binder labeled Evidence, launches into a speech about corruption. Plays a scratchy recording of the radio exchange and points at the moment dispatch. Said curtain inspection dispute like it proves a conspiracy. Then Ralph steps up with printouts and steadiness. Dates, amounts, missing approvals, screenshots of the LLC registration, and asks people to raise a hand if they paid a fine. That doesn't exist in the handbook. Hands lift like wheat in a summer wind. A mom paid over hydrangeas the wrong blue. A dad was threatened over Halloween lights off by 9 p.m. Nobody's yelling, which somehow hurts worse. It's just clarity. The board votes 7-0 to remove Cynthia. Refer the transfers to the district attorney. Refund every bogus fine. Cynthia sputters, administrative burden, and necessary expertise. The chair, a dental hygienist, who can smell a lie at 5 paces, says gently, "You used our money for your bills." The DA moves fast. False reporting harassment theft by deception turns out Cynthia called 911 over nothing. 21 times in 18 months. Delivery trucks repainting a garage door, a birthday party at 6 p.m. She sues us anyway, me, Maya, the board, claiming conspiracy and reputational harm. The neighbors build a legal defense fund on a picnic table under the hoop and stuff. Envelopes with checks and ones, and notes that say, for peace and discovery, does what discovery does. The Corolla is paid through the consulting account of lunches and salon visits, streaming subscriptions. Her own attorney withdraws. She represents herself. And the judge says, "Miss, Haley, when it feels like everyone is against you, sometimes the common denominator is you." The sentence is a year in county restitution of every dollar. Plus interest, 3 years. Probation barred from any HOA leadership in this state. She shouts that the dispatcher's wife runs the world as they escort her out. And it's messy, but I'll be honest, it also feels like air in a house with all the windows finally open. Ralph becomes HOA president. His first act is a 1-page reasonable neighbor rule. If it isn't unsafe, illegal, or truly disruptive, we don't police it. The fake fines are refunded. The playground gets new swings. The streetlight at the corner works again. Maya's commendation hangs in a cheap black frame above our couch, and once a year, we throw window day. We hang ridiculous drapes for an afternoon, and laugh not to mock anybody, to remember we're neighbors before we're rule keepers. The part that sticks with me isn't the punchline. It's the quiet center. The day she called 911, she thought authority would be a hammer. She met professionals who listened, neighbors who told the truth, a system that runs on facts if you feed it right, and a dispatcher who kept her voice level while someone tried to weaponize her job against her husband. People underestimate the quiet ones. They see the guy in slippers with coffee and think they can bluff him off his porch. They hear the woman on the headset and think she's just a switchboard. They forget how dangerous calm can be when you tie it to the truth. So tell me this, was the sentence too harsh or not enough? Where's the line between keeping a neighborhood nice and policing people's lives? Have you dealt with petty power dressed up as policy or been the person who finally said no and took the heat? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me what a neighbor's job really is. And if you think documentation and decency beat noise and fear, hit subscribe. So more people hear this and feel a little braver the next time someone brings a clipboard to their door.